Welcome back. Carrie Meek lived in the same house in Liberty City for more than 60 years. To describe it as modest would be generous. It is not on a pretty block, nor a particularly safe one. It is in a part of town most folks would be anxious to leave. But she liked it there. It was her home. And so last week, I met her son Kendrick there to talk about his mother. So what was this block like when she moved here?
It was an all-white block with one other African-American, her neighbor, moved here, but she was one of the first 2 or 3 people to integrate this block.
You didn't want to move?
Did not want to move, wanted to be here. She wanted to make, she was comfortable here. This is her neighborhood, this is her community. And she never wanted to move. I mean, she said, Kendrick, I want to be here with Mr. Sonny, my next door neighbor, Mr. Ernie, and how would you say, fence-to-fence neighbors. Yeah. People have been here, presidential candidates have been here, because if you were running for president, you had to come see Carrie Meek. If you were running for governor, you had to come see Carrie Meek. I mean, Lawton Childs, Buddy McKay, Bob Graham, you name it. They've all walked through this gate. Bill Clinton,
This is her way of saying she never forgot where she came from.
Never forgot where she came from, and folks wanted to know how she was so rooted. She never, she was never drawn out of her community. Right. And so she lived in her community, she worked in her community, she worshiped in her community, and that's what kept her grounded.
Inside the house, we spoke more about her life and legacy. Obviously, Kendrick, my condolences for the loss of your mother. She lived one heck of a life, though, for 95 years.
Jim, I can tell you that my sister Lucia, my sister Sheila, and I are extremely filled with joy, that we're her children and that she lived a fulfilled life. As an educator, as a mother, and as a representative on behalf of this community. And it's just, it's a strange time. We're saddened. I mean, we're going to miss our mother. I mean, all of our lives we've had our mother. And she was a mother's mother and a father in many ways. And sharing her with this community and the nation was something that we didn't find robbery because of how big her heart was. And so it's we've had better days, but we're glad that she's home now.
Well, I want to also, though, go back because her childhood.
Yeah.
There's a story of her, being a Girl Scout,
right,
and not being allowed to enter the state capitol in Tallahassee, right, to sell Girl Scout cookies.
Right.
And then ultimately coming back and being a representative in that. Did she talk about those childhood days?
Jim, all the time. And I think that's a perfect testimonial of Carrie Meek. Going there as a Brownie, watching the white Girl Scouts and Brownies going in and deliver on the first day of the legislative session to the senators and to the House members. But just that visual of being there to be a part of something and not be a part of something, but then later to return, to be a part of the State House and be one of the first with Dr. Arnett Gerardo, a black senator, a state senator, she talked about that. And the fact that she went through that life of going to FAMU College and then the state of Florida sending her to the University of Michigan because they didn't want a postgraduate degree to say Florida anything. She could have gone to the all-girls school at Florida State at that time, but she wasn't allowed to.
Just to be clear, Florida would not allow an African American to get a master's degree at a state school in the state.
No.
So they ended up actually paying her to leave.
Yes.
To go to Michigan.
To go to Michigan, which I believe she received a better education than a lot of the kids, which Michigan is considered, one of the highest schools that you could possibly go to. She was brilliant. At 19, she went. But Jim, the fact that I think it set her up to be the kind of leader. She was married twice, divorced twice, not because of her, but, because of, I think they loved the alcohol board and they loved her, unfortunately. And I speak of my own father in that sense. but she persevered. She raised my two sisters and I right here.
She could have been bitter.
She could have been bitter. But here's the thing, Jim. I think that God was preparing her for her public service. And people say, wow, how does she get it so? Because she had a real life experience. She knew what it meant to be a single mother. She knew what it meant to be in a not so great relationship. She knew what it meant to even raise me as a child with dyslexia. And she knew what it meant to raise two girls and make them two outstanding leaders. And so she understood that. So when she was 52, 53, she was elected. She understood housing. She understood struggle. She understood how to be an administrator because she did that for Miami-Dade College and she was over the Model Cities program. She did all of those things and she worked and worked and worked. And I've never seen a time where, oh, mom's just laying out, nothing to do and watching Fred Sanford. She did that, but she worked. And when I would come home from school, because my two sisters went on to college, my childcare was her picking me up and we go back to Miami-Dade and she works, well into the night.
What do you think her legacy will be?
When you think about it, her life experience for a woman who couldn't even vote her entire life, just a simple cast a vote because of discrimination. In this community, she stood for everyone. And those stories are there. And so this is not a celebration of proud Black folk that is going to happen from Sunday to Monday to Tuesday, celebrating her life. This will be a celebration of people of goodwill coming together, honoring someone like a Congresswoman Carrie Meek, who is, even though she's my mother, I understand through personal testimony of people with tears streaming down their face saying, I wouldn't have a house if it wasn't for Carrie Meek passing the surtax program. For my brothers and sisters from Haiti, I was in New Orleans 3 years ago. Quick story, I'm sorry. 3 years ago, cab driver pulled over and I was walking down the street. I was there for a conference and he pulled over and he said, are you Kendrick Meek? I said, yeah. He said, I just want you, he said, I don't know if your mother's still living, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. My family wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. My daughter wouldn't be doing what she's doing if it wasn't for her. Her office helped my family get out of a very dangerous situation. This man was literally crying. And if I could, it just took me, it was amazing. And so that's who she was. She took time to do that kind of thing for the least of these. And so I'm so proud of the fact that this community allowed her to serve in the way that God wanted her to serve. And she did it all the way until she could physically no longer do it. When others go on to the country club, go on to saying, okay, now I'm going to live the life of all the money that I've saved or whatever the case may be. And she didn't make a lot of money. She wasn't a wealthy woman. She didn't buy new furniture. Everything came from the thrift shop. And if you see something, someone bought it for her as a gift, like a family member or something like that. But she didn't believe in that.
Although she has been out of office for 18 years, congressional leaders are flying into Miami for Meek's funeral on Tuesday. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer and Jim Clyburn, the highest-ranking African American in Congress, are slated to eulogize her. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has taped a message to be played at the funeral as well.
And so you have these very busy individuals who, for a 95-year-old woman, they're coming to South Florida unplanned to honor her. And so this is, it's unlike what my sisters and I thought it would be. We knew it would be a great celebration, but guess who else is coming? Everyday people, people who punch in and punch out and catch the early bus. They're coming. And that's the joy that we celebrate as a family for someone who doesn't have a lot of resources. Some people don't even speak English. They're coming. The security guard at the building that I live at, he said, Mr. Meek, I put in to be, on Sunday, I'm gonna come see Miss Meek. He could barely speak English, but he understands her struggle and knew that she was for him. And so that kind of thing grabs us more, even though the titles are coming. That kind of thing was who Carrie Meek was and her memory will be. And everyone can embrace that and don't feel that they need to be in some sort of societal, situation to say that I knew her and that I loved her and that I see her as a shero and, I'm going to study her. And so those that are yet unborn, I think Jim will look back to a Carrie Meek and say, I get my direction from her character, from her commitment when she did not have to. She did it. And her life wasn't always great, but she made other lives great because of her real life experience. And so that's the joy. Like I said, we have no sadness. My family, no sadness. Oh, why now? No, we're celebrating because she gave it, she left it on the field. She left it on the field.
We'll be right back.